today we're going to be discussing Black representation in the tech space. Let's get into it. Get into this, we're about to discuss, just like we said on the first joint, we're about to just get into the world of tech, entrepreneurship, just everything that kind of makes the world turn right about now. And let's get into it, but especially when we're just talking about making an impact. Let's talk about Ford. Let's get into it, man.
Yeah, man. There's a lot going on. I see Ford's new electric vehicle, the Ford F-150. It was you that actually told me that this was the most popular vehicle like in America.
Yes.
It's like full stop. I had no clue. Like, so I don't even know anyone that has a Ford F-150, but I guess that's, city kids.
Demographics. But, definitely demographics.
yeah. I'm sure if we went out to like Midwest, we see a bunch more. But yeah, it's a super cool thing. And I know I was just watching a video by MKBHD. I think it's his YouTube name there.
Yeah,
and it was just really dope. Just seeing how the vehicle works, the range on it, and the fact that it will probably go a little bit further than what it even says.
Yes.
And man, like I wanted a Tesla, but I think I want a Ford now.
Yo, it's a smart choice, man. It's a smart choice. Like the Ford has a freaking dedicated. Like you can live in that thing. Like you put something. You put a bed in the back. You got where you sleep, and you got the office in the front. The freaking what's it called? The armrest flips out into a desk for you to put your laptop, bro. Like bananas.
Yeah, just some of the features they got in that thing are just absolutely amazing. I love the interior, and that's one thing I will say. So I like the look of the Teslas on the outside and just some of the functionality they have.
Yeah.
But with this, I like that they're not so just sparse and minimalist on the interior. Like I like to actually see the luxury I just paid for. I mean, because you can't see the outside of your car while you're driving. You know what I mean?
This is true. The utility of that. The utility of it is just like it's like that Ford is like to what you were saying. Like that Ford is like buying a house, and the house being furnished in a way where it's believable. And then I feel like the Tesla is like going out to Cali to the upper echelons of wealth, where it's like, no, we don't do baseboards or floor. We just use the cement because we want to go with this minimalist. Like, you know what I mean? It's like so out there that it's like, okay, but you know what I mean? Like the Tesla, I think that Tesla made the car compelling, like the electric car. I feel like Tesla was number one in making it an aspirational vehicle. This Ford has just basically changed the game, and normal people are going to look at this thing and say, yeah, it makes sense. Like if you buy and then that's another thing, just for tax purposes and things like that, where trucks like that can be written off as expensive because of the weight class and all this other stuff. It's like, yeah, I'm going to buy this truck. I'm going to live in it. I'm going to do all my work in it. Like, yo, the thing had drains in the front so that you can tailgate and not have to worry about cleaning up the ice. Like, just amazing. Like, the thing is amazing.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking about that versus some of the stuff that happens with the whole minimalist culture of Tesla with the Cybertruck, man. Like the Cybertruck doesn't even have side mirrors, yo. Like I don't even know if it's going to end up being street legal. There's some stuff that does. It's like, yo, like I get it, you're pushing the envelope, but yeah, you know what I'm going to miss though? If Ford has kind of that drive style feature, I'll check that out. I'm not going to be in the passenger seat, knocked out, but just it is like a safety, like on a long trip. I think is just something super dope. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally get it.
I don't know if Ford even has anything like that.
Yeah, driverless technology. I'm, it's gonna take like our kids. I feel to be like comfortable with that because I need to drive the car. Like so, but I totally agree. Like the car's driving for you. You open up your laptop and you're just plugging away on whatever, and the car's taking you wherever you need to be. That's gonna be sick. That's gonna be sick. I didn't even think about that yet. Like that's gonna be sick. Yeah, man. I love Tesla. The Cybertruck, I hate the Cybertruck. Me personally, like that's just my views. I saw the Cybertruck. I saw them try to do that little demo where they like hit it with something to see like how,
and it broke,
and then it broke, and I was just like, good for you. Like this thing to me was like, to me, it's the dumbest truck I've ever seen. Like usually trucks have a certain demographic, and as a result, trucks kind of look the same. This thing, I don't know who it's for. Like I have like a techie who needs a truck. Like it just doesn't make sense to me. Like what are you lifting? Like our tech and our computers are getting smaller and smaller. Who are you selling this truck to? Like now the Tesla bus or truck that they're coming up with. I mean the actual like hauler that makes sense. Cybertruck, like to me, it just looks dumb. Like I don't want.
There's some IT guy that's like picturing a server kind of mainframe. He's
yeah, yeah, something like that, man. It has to be something like that. Like so, yeah, man.
But no, I think it's the tech guy flex at the end of the day. Like they do want something that they can.
Yeah.
But with that, and just so Ford doesn't really have like a whole ecosystem out there, or that's probably the wrong word, but like a charging station system like Tesla has. Now I know other electric vehicles can just pull up, and I think that is going to be key. And I do wonder, like I don't have an electric vehicle. I actually drive a hybrid, so I mean, and I love my hybrid. Personally, if they came out with a Ford F-150 that had most of the features and was a hybrid, I would probably want that just so I could have gas as a backup. But I don't even know how like that's going to work as far as like, so you got this Ford F-150 electric and you're pulling up to a Tesla station. Like, are they going to charge you extra? Like, I just want to know the back end and you know what stations they're counting if you are going to do a long haul trip.
Yeah, so I know for a fact that Tesla, when they were first coming out, like they had their charging stations, but then there was also like an add-on or whatever where you can kind of bring the charging apparatus or what have you with you, and then if you pulled up to like a hotel or something, there was a way to like charge your car there without it being a Tesla charging station or a supercharger. So I think that there is, because like people have like Winnebagos and shit. Like people have motorhomes and they have to charge different elements there. So like so there is some semblance of an infrastructure there. But I will say that when this is America, like cars. This is America. Cars. It doesn't have to be a full statement. You get what I'm saying. This is pretty much where I think the government needs to step in. This is where, if you want to stay competitive, if you want to stay competitive, and things went blue recently, and Biden's talking about this infrastructure program. This is where that needs to go. It needs to go into, and we can pretty much segue on to this other innovative company. I forgot what it was called, but anyway, we'll get into that later. This is where they need to step in, and they need to invest in the infrastructure for this. Whether we go the traditional route that Tesla and Ford are going, where you need to replace the gas stations with charging stations, or if we go into this next company we're about to talk about, where they've basically electrified the pavement. And yeah, man, you can go ahead and shoot off with that one.
Oh yeah, man. Matter of fact, I didn't even write down the name of that specific company, but they were like one of like dozens that are trying to get different grants for this. And so basically, what they're trying to do is they're trying to update all of our road infrastructures, and instead of just having a charging station you pull up to, they want to charge your car through induction, like the wireless charging that you have on the back of your phone or like on the back of your watch, and just actually insert it inside the actual road. And then while you're driving, you're charging, and they're going to use your car to kind of keep track and then charge you for what energy you took from the grid system. Yeah. I think it's an interesting idea, and just thinking about having an electric vehicle where just automatically, like you never have to charge it. Like it's infinitely charged. It's always ready to go just because it's sitting right on the road. And every time you're at a red light, it's getting an extra bump up. you're pulling around driving, and it's still like a low level charging if you're like in the city. There's just so many possibilities that can come from this.
Yep.
And I wonder what the future is going to look like, especially when, like you were talking about before, when we are in the cars driving themselves. And then never having to charge that car. That's going to be intense.
I mean, we've kind of seen it. Like, so the company, I looked it up real quick, Electrion, and I think they're out in Israel. I'm not sure if it's the same company, but I saw another documentary where out in South Korea, they're doing it with their buses already. Like we're already seeing just, first world countries that are adopting this model. And I think it's going to be super dope. And, not that this has any importance, but I'm a nerd. It's already worked. Slot cars, just buy the track, put it all together, put a thing on it, and boom, there's no batteries in the slot car, it's a motor. That's all that you need. Like, I'm already doing it.
I don't think they got this. I don't think they have this in New York, but in Philly for our some of our buses, we've had trolleys for years, and we have buses that actually hook directly onto the power lines, and that's where they're drawing their energy from, and don't even need gas. So that's been something that's been in the city, but then you're stuck to wherever you have over the pavement, wires running. Yeah. Yes, there's definitely technology and a basis for this, and I'm sure that's probably where they got a lot of the idea from. Is stuff like slot cars and just how folks are running buses in some other big cities. But I was just thinking about could you imagine so you buy yourself a Ford F-150 and you got a dang wireless pod that you have for just following you from your cell phone company, and you're completely off the grid. You don't have an actual phone. You pull it up to your house, you're plugging your house into your car, and you're getting energy from that. The future is going to be a weird place.
It is. If they were to bring that technology on, I don't know what I would do. Okay, so I'd save my money up, buy a bus. Just be done. All right, here it is. That's it. By the spot, we living here now. We're just on the road, continuously, paying my subscription or whatever. It's cool. Another thing that I want to highlight also for those who haven't seen that Ford F-150, go check that out. It's a giant battery. So the cheaper one is around 40. And then it gets more expensive over 50,000. And when I say 40,000, so over the more expensive one is 50 and up. The battery is so powerful that you can use it to use it as a backup generator. Not to mention, it has the outlet for a washing machine in it, and it has over 8 or 9 or so. I lost count of how many of the normal plugs it had. It has one in the front. It has one in the frunk. And when I say the front, I meant your actual in the cabin, in the front seat next to the console. It has it there. It has it in the cab. It has it in the front. It has it in the back. The thing is just a utility vehicle. I've never wanted a truck. I can't see how someone would if I build my business to that point where it makes sense for me to buy a car, and I have to buy something where, it has a certain weight limit or whatever, and I get to write it off. I'm getting a F-150. It just is what it is. Yeah. I don't like trucks at all, but this one, I'm getting it. I have to. I can't justifiably get anything else.
And you know what else is dope? So I don't know if you had a chance to look at this, but they also got the all-electric Hummer. I don't know if that's been released yet, but that thing is crazy too. And Hummer thing disappeared for a couple of years there.
They did.
But they're back with a vengeance, man. These new electric vehicles are definitely big. And like I was saying, man, I still, maybe because I need that hybrid thing. If they came out hybrid version, probably would for sure be a purchase I'll make sooner than later. Yeah. Just until we have that infrastructure in place where either we're getting that charge straight from the ground, or I know that I can drive and hit a bunch of places and quickly pull up to a supercharge station and not really have any issues. But
yeah, it's so yes, I think that gas ain't going nowhere for a while. I would say we still got a good 10, I would say we got another decade of gas. But anything above that, I don't know. I think the next 10, we can arguably say gas is going to be viable, but I don't think gas is going to be where it is. After that, I think gas will always be viable. Maybe like there's trucks or, there are like bigger vehicles that rely on fossil fuels. A yacht. I don't know. Like, there are things that are always going to rely on gas. But just cars in general, I think EVs will take over in 10, which is still a ways away. But yes, I like seeing what we're seeing right now with this F-150, where it's just such a compelling vehicle at that price. I noticed that it's using the same console that the Mustang was using, which I am a Mustang owner. So they came out with the Mach-E, and I have a gas Mustang. I got the 2017, the last car they made, if you will. That Mach-E is very compelling. I like that they're sharing parts, so they're cutting costs there. They're getting crafty. They're finding ways to make it work. I like what Ford's doing, and yeah, man, I just say cheers to Ford on that one. They smoked both of those vehicles. They're both compelling. I haven't seen many Mach-E's around, but this F-150, I think it's going to kill it. I think it's going to become.
Yeah, I agree.
It just is. It is. One thing that I really dig, and it's just, I guess, it's just as society's advancing, we're starting to see a lot of Black entrepreneurs make their way into tech. And, I would just be, I guess, remiss not to mention people that I look up to, like your Dr. Dre's and your Jay-Z's, who, respectively, they're not necessarily, traditionally speaking, they were not techie at all. You know what I mean? Like growing up, I wasn't really looking up to Bill Gates or anything like that. I was looking at them because I loved music. And then seeing how they were able to make that step into technology, like Jay-Z going in with Tidal, which just made sense. Like streaming was bubbling at the time. Everyone would start, Spotify was killing it, Apple's getting in, he jumps into. And through the business model of Tidal with the content, because we're talking, it's hip hop, but it's like hip hop is the biggest genre. It's the most popular genre in the world.
Yeah.
Jay-Z is at the forefront of that as far as, music goes, and his stint in hip hop. And he's still killing it. But he gets into, he buys part ownership of Tidal. They rebrand it. Even down to the design, you got Apple. Apple Music, they're going to be successful regardless because it's Apple. You know what I mean? They have all the phones. But Apple, white, magenta, Tidal, black, cyan, just complete opposite. You know what I mean? Like he made it one of the, I feel like he made it one of the top 3 as far as like, I didn't really see that much hype around Amazon. Amazon is big, but I feel like Tidal was spanking them too. Like it was just interesting to see that. And then of course with Dre Beats and us getting into that hardware space, or just having Black representation in that hardware space where, he didn't necessarily own the entire company, but it was just the branding behind it, what it represented for the culture. I just thought it was dope. I guess a question I could ask you was, and this is where me and you like differ, like, I wish they didn't sell them. I know why they sold them. I wish they didn't sell them.
I feel 2 ways about that. I don't know if they took that brand to like its zenith there. I know that there was some technology that was Beats based from what Dre's input had that ended up getting sold, but their original makers were actually Monster headphones, and they're still making headphones. So I don't know how much of that is shared in the DNA there. I don't know. I didn't mind that they sold it because I'm business first. So that's usually where I end up on things. If it makes smart business sense, and then you're able to take that bag you got from whoever and go and do more things, great. And Jay-Z's another example of that, where he will build something and then he'll sell it with the quickness. And I look up to him and see the moves that he makes, and and how he kind of like decides when it's time to get out. And I know for Title, there was more than one time when there were talks about him selling it. Like at one point, there was a lot of talk about him selling it to Sprint, and I don't know what happened there. But ultimately,
he did sell part of it to Sprint. Right? He did. Yeah, I think he sold like a third of it or whatever, like at one point.
So yeah, I think it's just cool, and I think it definitely still keeps us as Black folks in the tech space, and people are talking about what we're doing, and it lets them know that they're like most companies want to do dealings with us, and we can successfully do these dealings. So I don't have a problem there. But also, while we're on the topic of all this and headphones, let's put some respect on Ray J's name, because he got Ray Buds.
Yes.
That's out here moving and popping in these streets.
Yes.
And look, he don't get enough respect. I mean, come on, he made one wish, and he was the foot in the door for Kim Kardashian. I'm just going.
He was definitely the foot in the door. She wouldn't be here without him. Yeah, man. That. Exactly.
But yeah,
yes.
Or like I think you were talking about Soulja Boy too, because he's another one that's also in the tech space. He's got a couple different game consoles. There's a few folks out there.
So with Soulja Boy, I'm a little critical of Soulja Boy because like I'm a gamer, and Soulja Boy being into the gaming. First off, I think that Soulja Boy needs to like really take a step back, like naming all the consoles after himself, like the Soldier console. Like I think it's dumb. Like I think it's dumb. I think it's stupid, and no one takes it seriously. You know what I mean? Like no one would ever do that. So here's the thing where I say I think that Soulja Boy is targeting an interesting industry, and the way he's doing it is the way he should be doing it. But he needs to sell it for what it actually is. Like he's not making the next PlayStation 3. What he's doing is selling you emulators. He's selling you emulator consoles. There is a way to do that. You get with people and you try to sell performance. Yo, it's like trying to sell a phone, but you're using your notoriety and your branding. It's just like with Beats by Dre. It could be, retro by Soulja Boy. You know what I mean? Like there are different ways you can go about it. With the Beats by Dre thing, yes, he was selling monster headphones that sound phenomenal, because if you are an audio recording, you will know that monster cords and cables are great cables. And that makes a difference in your sound quality. But the electric signal that's going through the headphones to create audio and make those freaking eardrums vibrate, like that makes that it's a real thing. So I feel like Soulja Boy kind of misses an opportunity in this, in that he just needs to kind of partner up with a Chinese hardware company, because that's where a lot of those emulators come from. They look like little Game Boys. Like there's a lot you can do. Soulja Boy, Game Boy. There's a lot you can do with that if you finesse it. And he hasn't finessed it yet.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%. Definitely did not finesse it properly. It is a crime and branding based purely off of just his hubris. Like it's got to be about him.
Yeah, man.
But that's Soulja Boy for you. Like he invented the internet, so just every
he did first. He did, but you definitely need to the type of people who buy tech. They do fall into two camps, because you have like your Apple elitists, myself, and then you have basically everyone else, right? But everyone else, even the people who are not like on the Apple elite kind of tip, they want sophisticated and powerful technology. That's what we want. We want to buy performance. We want options to customize. It's sophisticated. It's supposed to look and sound and act smart. So if he could lean into that, I think he'd be cooking with gas.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot he could do, and I think that just slapping retro on it would give people a different idea of what it's supposed to do and be, as opposed to him trying to make it seem like it's high tech. something.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what's interesting? I just had this thought while we're talking about all these people that have entered the tech space. It's kind of intriguing that all of them are musicians. You know,
Yeah.
just about I think everybody. And I wonder, is there some like kind of connection there? And where are the other folks of color that are out here doing it, or do they just not get the platform because they haven't already been in the public eye? It's just kind of just weird to me that there's not that many people. Like, only other person that's like no one that I can think of that doesn't have his own tech to speak of that I know of is MKBHD. A voice in that space, but he doesn't have a product that he's moving.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just.
I think that's the thing. Like, traditionally speaking, and it goes back to what I said about Soulja Boy. It goes to Jay-Z. It goes to Dr. Dre. Music and entertainment with respect to black people. That's where we hold influence, and that's where whether you are a rich artist or a poor artist or what have you, the people you have the currency of attention. You have eyeballs. You know what I mean? So whether it's not there's no question. Did Ray J like create the Ray Buds or what have you? Absolutely not. He's probably partnered up with a manufacturer and they're partnering together. They're using the branding. They're using his notoriety, what have you, his effect, on the culture, what have you, as a public figure. And that's kind of what's pushing it. I will give you an example. Tristan Walker, he's the CEO of Bevel Clippers. You know what I mean? Which as black people, like, yeah, we need Clippers. We use lineups, all of that. Like, that's how we get around. Like, that's how we keep ourselves groomed. But even with Tristan Walker, who is not in tech, not in music by any means, who they partner up with, Nas was in like all the commercials as far as pushing these Clippers. So I just say that to say music is powerful, and you don't have to necessarily have the best product in the world to get into it. You especially in tech, there's so many, you can buy headphones from anywhere. For a little while, Jay had a little partnership with Skull Candies. Like, Jay-Z, before he got into Tidal, he partnered with Samsung and put his album out with you know what I mean? It's about attention. It's about eyeballs. Hip hop is the most popular and powerful genre in the world. That's my stance on that. And yeah, why wouldn't a tech company want to get like black people who I also believe we own cool. Who wouldn't want to get a whole bunch of black people to like your product? Like, once we like it, yeah, it gets adopted everywhere. Like, oh shoot, look, did you see? Like, that's kind of what we do. We do set trends. It just sucks that we can't monetize that shit.
Yeah, we really do need to monetize it more. And you're right. I feel like you nailed it when you said we own cool. And we have to realize when we lease our cool to these other companies. Like, just thinking about, MKBHD, like, I would love if he came out with, like, could you imagine if he came out with like a tablet or a cell phone, just how much attention it would get just across the board. Yeah. I wonder why he hasn't gone into that space. I mean, I guess it would be kind of a conflict of interest a little bit because he reviews so many products, or at least puts his stamp on a product so he can lease his cool and, make some more money. I think that would be dope, but that's just, me thinking out loud about the whole thing.
Yeah, I agree. I'll say this. I think that for black people to get I think it's hard for black people to get into. I'm going to be negative and controversial just for the comments. All right, so love me or hate me, people. All right. I don't think that it's at this point in the rat race, it's possible for us to just like come out with our own cars and our own like computers. It's a very hardware. It's a very hardware rich environment, and it's just like, to me, the capital that you need. Like, and I'm pretty sure he's rich. Like, I'm pretty sure he's doing pretty well for himself with his YouTube channel and his reviews and his, I'm pretty sure a lot of them are sponsored. But the money that it takes you to just build a computer company from scratch, like, I just don't see it. I can see him creating his own network. I could see him going into, you know, his own network, his own show. I could see him maybe doing a partnership, kind of like Ray, like the Ray Buds do, and then maybe when it blows up, he buys all of it. You know what I mean? I could see it going that way. But the Steve Jobs route or the Bill Gates route, no. I will say that there is potential, I believe, in software. I think that's probably, if I could tell any black person like who wants to do tech, I would say software. That would probably be the most compelling.
Yeah. Like, I think one of the biggest I watch for interviews in particular is like how he reviews camera stuff. Like, if he had something like some software that was like the pinnacle camera app that's like replacing all of these OEM camera apps that are on these phones when you get them, like he could do a lot with that. But
yes.
But yeah.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Maybe I'll correct myself and say it's not impossible, because I love Sony, and their first product was a rice cooker. So, I mean, it's all relative. Like, if you make a bomb rice cooker, who knows? So.
Yeah. We get into it, that I'm thinking about through some stuff, and I do some consulting to companies, and a while ago, like earlier in the year, and did a little bit of consulting for was this electric car companies. Actually, it was more so a company that converted cars to be electric. And he's in the middle of trying to get funding. This is an African-American gentleman that runs this business. And his biggest issue is really getting into those rooms or being in those rooms where, the big deals could happen. And a lot of his initial funds were actually just spent on finding representatives that didn't look like him to go into the rooms first. And it's sad when you think about it. So I get how it feels like, it's impossible sometimes. And it was kind of like in his marketing, which is really like my main feedback I was giving to him is, it's okay to be black. In fact, I think, like you said, we own the pool, and it's starting to be more beneficial for these bigger companies to support us now anyway. So we got to take advantage. So that's he's working on. It was a really cool product. It was a really cool product. Like he had a whole kit where you convert an 18-wheeler to be electric. And if this is our future and we have stuff like the infrastructure we were talking about previously, it could go far. But it's just so beyond the fact that they really only look at us for music and things of that nature, we can't even get into some of these rooms just because of, just people's thoughts about us.
Yeah. Nah, that's super, super unfortunate. And it's very true. It's a different, like pitching an idea to get like an angel investor, or getting someone to invest in your idea, what have you, like, it's extremely hard. Like, it's extremely hard for normal people, and then you just add melanated to it, and it's like even more difficult. So, yeah, man, it's one of those things. It's one of those things that we have to overcome. But I will say, I am hopeful for the future, in that people like ourselves, we're getting a lot more interested in it. Myself, learning how to code, your consultant work, and how you're able to just leverage all of your ways. I'm not going to share the cheat codes. That's not for me. But like all of that, not for me to share. All of that, I don't think that we're special. You know what I mean? I think that there are other people who are out there just looking for different opportunities and different ways to finesse it. And I think the future's bright on that. But I will say, and just using this platform, tech, I believe that for just our culture, for our people, what have you, I think that tech is one of the potential gold mines that could, improve a lot of things and get people to higher stations. And, it don't cost nothing to start learning how to program or whatever. You know what I mean? And just bringing these ideas to life. There's so many resources out there. So, we just have to be interested in it. And we need to see people doing it, and we're seeing people doing it. So I'm all with that.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the things that I want to do and I want to promote. And I've been working with, and I'm developing some of my own stuff that I'm sure we'll talk about at a later date. And I think it is important, and it's doable. So anybody that's watching this, since like you said, we got this platform, you can go and figure it out, and you can have it done, and you can learn as you're doing. Like there's just so much I was able to do in the past 3 months that if you would have, told me in the middle of 2020 what I'd be doing today, I would not believe you.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just got to get out and we got a show, and leverage relationships, man. Like there's a lot you can do with just using the skills we have, the influence we have, just in our melanated way of doing things that can get you pretty far. I'm gonna leave it at that. Like I'm even in talks right now to get some funding from some pretty companies. So there are opportunities out here for us, and some of them are even especially for us because of our color. You could definitely hit me up, drop a comment, and shout if you're someone that is in the tech space and you're trying to move into it, and we can compare notes and see where we can help each other.
I agree, man. And I'll also say that too. You can definitely reach out to me, especially if you're, into branding or just need ideas with branding. I'm a graphic designer, web designer. Soldier Boy, holla at me if you see this. What's it called, man? Like, yeah, man, it's the world is ours, man. I think it's going to be dope. So yeah, man, that's all I got for today.
Yeah, same here. This was dope.
All right, yo.